Webheads, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, I'm your host, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to bring you the summer edition of After the Poll. Guys, this is the video series where I take some of my most highly anticipated comics and I see if they live up to the hype. And guys, this week so far, I only read 5 comics, but I am ranking them from number 5 all the way to number 1. And what's number 1? Well, you'll soon find out. So let's kick off this bad boy with number 5. And number 5 goes to Something is Killing the Children. This is issue 24, written by James Tynion IV. Now, Something is Killing the Children is always a solid read. I feel like, though, that ever since the book has come back, it's been a little bit a slow burn. Not much story progression has happened in the series. But when you open up this book, it always delivers some solid artwork. Characters look great. We got this mysterious creature right here as you get to see him, who opens up his stomach and you get to see an eyeball. Like, that's like super freaky. And Erica Slaughter's trying to do this investigation about this little girl's grandparents or parents or whatever wound up getting murdered by one of these creatures, and she's just going around for information. And people are not too keen of her because she just seems nosy and they know that she's lying and whatnot. And the other big thing that's happening in this story as well, based off of what happened in the first story arc, we get to see this new character here. Her name is Miss Cutter, and she is kind of like a bounty hunter to kill people that were part of a house that betrayed them or whatnot. So she's going to be on the hunt for Erica Slaughter, and I think that makes for a much more interesting story as this series continues, more than her actually hunting this monster. But nevertheless, very interesting. If you read Something is Killing the Children before, this is a must read. And if you haven't read it in the past, then I say go out there, buy the trades. You won't be disappointed. This is a solid book. All right, so let's move on to number 4. And number 4 goes to The Amazing Spider-Man issue 4. Now, Amazing Spider-Man has actually been pretty good for me. Just take out the Mary Jane stuff and some of the artwork in this series. It's actually okay because they've made Tombstone a formidable foe. And I think that's pretty cool to see such a street-level Spider-Man battling a street-level bad guy that kind of outsmarts Spider-Man. And you get to see that in this issue. Now, let's check out the artwork. The funny thing is about the artwork in this book is that I said it from the beginning. Oh man, John Romita Jr., he's actually going to be doing the artwork. It's going to be horrible whenever I see Mary Jane or Black Cat. Well, let me just tell you, Black Cat is in this issue in the very beginning, and I've never seen just such a bad Black Cat before. Even though you don't see any part of her body, you get to see her face. Look at that face. What is that right there? I'm like, oh my God. But John Romita Jr.'s artwork is okay. It starts to grow on me a little bit when it comes to the Spider-Man parts and the action scenes. It does remind me of Kick-Ass a little bit, the way the characters look. And I do like how Zeb Wells is writing this book because of just, you see Spider-Man so desperate. And I have not felt that desperation on a character in such a long time. You know, Tombstone set up this thing like he was going to kill a whole city block and they were going to blame the Rose for it. And you get to see, again, that whole desperation on Spider-Man. And in the meantime, it was just this big setup to get Spider-Man to do Tombstone's dirty work for him. So I thought that was very interesting. And in the meantime, Tombstone's just taking it easy, and he's getting Randy together with, the father, and they're having a conversation with each other how the two kids are going to get married with each other. So, you know, pretty cool little setup there. I like the book. I think it's been quite interesting. I feel that people may not like it, obviously, because of the artwork, and also that when you look at it, maybe this story arc is a little bit too slow and nothing is really happening, and people want to know what happened 6 months ago. But don't worry, guys, we'll get there. And just stick with it. I feel like this book is worth it right now, and I think it's going to get better as time goes along. All right, so now we move on to number 3. And number 3 goes to Batman Superman World's Finest issue 4. I was lucky to get this cool variant cover for cover price. My comic shop, Comic Central, just threw it in there before I even got my pull or even knew it was in my pull. And I thought it was badass. And when you read this issue, what you see on this cover, dude, it actually happens. It is so freaking badass. This book is so much fun, and I love seeing all the characters in here. Look at that. You get to see a possessed Hal Jordan, Green Lantern in this book. So freaking cool. You get to see this evil new bad guy by the name of Neza or something like that. I don't even remember what his name was. But what happens is we get to see our heroes try to fight against this new bad guy. And they're not really, formidable foes. Like, they can't hold up against him because the guy is magic. And Superman is weak to magic. You got Kara and you got Tim, who went back in time to try to find out how to defeat this guy. And they got some valuable information. In the meantime, you get to see all of our heroes here battling this guy. And the big thing that happened in this book, which was so much fun, was you got to see them combine. Yes, Batman and Superman combined to become this Green Lantern, Superman, Batman mashup. That was the issue right there for me. Oh my God, that was so freaking good. I loved it. Every page just screams at you with tons of action. This is such a good book. At the end of the issue, you find out that they have a way to beat this bad guy, but it looks like one of our heroes have to sacrifice themselves in order to save the day. This book is a must-read, guys. So well done. All right, so now we move on to number 2. And you wouldn't be surprised here. Number 2 goes to Gunslinger Spawn. This is issue 9. This book is phenomenal. Every time I read it, it just screams to me with its artwork. This is Brett Booth's best artwork that I have ever seen in my entire life. I have all the books that he's drawn. Maybe he's done some X-Men stuff, which has been really good. But here we get to see some more pages. I'm going to show you real quick with Gunslinger there. Just like, look how good he looks. He drew She-Spawn really well in this book, and as well. I mean, so well done. I don't know how many times I said well in this sentence. But anyway, when it comes to the story was just as good. In this issue, you get a little bit of a origin story of Javier. He came from the year 1845. I think it was, or 1849, and his whole thing is he wants to get back in his time. Spawn brought him in here, and now he's leaving him in here, and he wants to get back to his time. And in the beginning of this book, you get to see his origin story. You get to see the evil menace that he dealt with in the beginning of the book as well, and how he got killed. And you don't see how he became Gunslinger, but it was a dream. So you got a little bit of a glimpse of it. And also in this issue, we get to see Jessica Priest actually try to train Javier a little bit on how he has to be on his toes. He can't be staring at women's breasts. It was just really a lot of fun. This book, again, is absolutely awesome, and you get to see them meet up with actually Al Simmons' Spawn in this issue, and you kind of see the beginnings of the Scorch team being formed in this book. If you guys have not read Gunslinger, I will definitely suggest it every single time I show this book. It is absolutely must read. It's so entertaining. You don't have to be a Spawn fan to appreciate this book. It has its own voice. It's so good, guys. Definitely pick this one up. All right, so then number 1 goes to the Silver Coin issue 11. This is written by James Tynion. Now, originally when I saw this book, I didn't even pay attention to who wrote it, because no matter what issue it is, who writes it, it's always good. I love horror anthology comics, and let me tell you guys, this is so well written. It's about this story of a woman who owns this diner, and there's this place called Whamburger that's like McDonald's that opened up and drew the business away from them. And the woman comes across the coin. And the coin, you think at first, is a lucky coin. Unfortunately, you get good luck at first, but always at the end of the day, bad things happen. This woman who's a little bit jaded and is jealous that this Whamburger is getting all this business at the restaurant, she gets possession of this coin. She's like, holy crap, what I wish for is I wish for business to come back to this place. And what happens is she winds up seeing all these people show up at her front door, and she's like, oh my God. And they just start eating and eating and eating and eating. And the chef starts getting possessed. He's possessed by some spirits. He just starts making all kinds of food. Even when he runs out of food, he's killing people, making body parts and stuff like that. Oh my God, it's absolutely insane. And this book is so dark, so gruesome. I say, if you love horror books, if you like gore, this is the book for you guys. The Silver Coin issue 11 is my #1 book so far. Will it stay #1? I don't know. I have about 15 more books to read this week, so it's going to be hard for it to keep that #1 spot, but it was a phenomenal read. So if at least there's 5 comics out there that you should read this week that I can recommend to you guys, it's going to be these books right here. So guys, there you have it. There is this week's smaller episode of After the Poll. I want to know in the comments below, do you guys like this way I do it? And what do you think about this week's book? So until next time, guys, this is Mike Spider Slayer saying thank you so much for watching. Keep buying, keep collecting, but most importantly, always read your comics. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you real soon. Bye.